I hope that you can hear me. Yes, and I want to thank you for joining. Thank you for coming for this class. And let me begin by saying my name is Teacher Martha. I hope some of you are, I'm not a student to a good number of you because we have interacted in many ways. Some of you have also met me in person because I can see my students are here. Thank you for those from my school. I'm happy to have you here. It's a great honor. Someone is asking me if I can wait for 5 minutes. This is 35 past. I'm not sure if we wait because we need to be out of here by 8:30, unless you want us to be here longer. I don't want to be here longer because I have another meeting at 8:45. And so allow me to begin because this is a beginning of many other meetings that are going to come. I promise that we will have quite a number of other meetings coming up, so don't worry. We may not exhaust everything today, but this is just a beginning. So allow me to begin from there and say that I love literature. I go by name Beautiful Literature because literature is very beautiful. It is so beautiful. If you don't find beauty in literature, I think you're the one who has not been able. You know, some people say, it's said that the beauty is in the eyes of the beholder. I hope when you look at literature, you're able to see the beauty, because if you don't see it, I think there will be a problem. My name is Teacher Martha. Yes, Teacher Martha. Some people call me Mrs. Nganga. I teach in one of the schools in Kiambu. I don't want to tell you what name it is, maybe in your funky. When you come when they went for music festival, they beat you and they didn't make you very happy. So I don't want you to miss my lessons because I teach girls, and maybe they don't make you very happy, or maybe one of them. Or maybe one of them does not make you very happy. So I will not go into the names. I'll tell you the name after I'm done with the lesson, so that you can be able to concentrate without thinking about the girls that I spend my day with, the girls that I love very much. Yes, so my name is Teacher Martha, and most of you, we have interacted even on YouTube, because I'm also on YouTube. I go by the name Beautiful Literature with Teacher Martha. So if you haven't interacted with me on YouTube, there is so much of my content there. I'm hoping you can go in there after this and just have a look at it. But I will bring you that information afterwards. Now, allow me to begin from a very important place where literature and essay writing has been a challenge for many of us. And I am very passionate about it, not because I am the best, but because I know how I appreciate, I'm able to appreciate literature in a very deep way. And I love paper 3. I love helping students in paper 3 because I don't know why you have an attitude towards English paper 3. Can everybody hear me? There's someone who's saying you have an issue with sound. Could that be from your end? I hope. Can everybody hear me? I am sure you can hear me.
Yes.
I'm loud and clear. Maybe the person who is struggling could be from your end. Please check your mic, check your internet and something. Thank you. Now, the reason why I'm thinking of having these lessons is because I am very concerned at how students just have an attitude towards English paper 3, and I'm saddened. Because if you don't do well in paper 3, there is a very, very high possibility of struggling. There is a very high possibility of not scoring very well in English overall. You can do well in paper 1, you can do well in paper 2, and therefore, my passion for paper 3 is because I really would want to demystify that paper, because it is not as hard as people think, as students think. It is not as difficult. It is actually very interesting. And so therefore, this is the first meeting we are having on this forum, on this platform, but I intend to have many meetings coming forward. And especially for this holiday, I feel like I want to do something especially for the Form 4s, because I know the Form 4s, we may not have you again. December, you will be a totally different group altogether. And therefore, I want to help you over these 2 weeks remaining, because now we have 2 weeks remaining. I want to assist you. And therefore, next week, I will be having as many sessions as possible, but the ones that are scheduled are Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday. The ones I've scheduled. But upon request, we can always have more. We can always have more sessions. You can raise as many questions, and we can do these essays together. The students, my students in our school, we are doing our thing on the side, but I would want to bring in other people. Yes, I have a WhatsApp group. There is a number that is on the poster. You can chat me on that WhatsApp group, on that poster. And Matthew, I don't know whether you are able to share the link. I don't think you have it, the one that I would want them to join. But you chat me on that the number that is on the WhatsApp, on the poster, and I will forward you to the group where we do quite a bit of those things. Now, I want us to therefore begin with the essay today. And I wanted to hear first, because I know in this meeting we have the Form 3s and the Form 4s. And I know that the Form 3s, you are having, you're doing the Fathers of Nations next year. And I know the Form 4s, you're doing the Samaritan this year. And I wanted to capture both of you. I didn't want to have only the Form 4s. I wanted to also bring in the Form 3s, because I've discovered most of the students are struggling because we begin essay writing in Form 4. We begin essay writing in term 2, Form 4. And therefore we rush, we harass you, we give you pressure. But if you began your essay writing in Form 3, it becomes a bit easier. So that's why I am interested in bringing Form 3s on board. And therefore I want to make a special request today for this particular lesson, that you allow us, even if, especially the Form 4s, if I had time, I'd want to do a poll and find out how many Form 4s do we have, how many Form 3s do we have, so that I'm able to tell, do we have more Form 3s and more Form 4s? I don't know whether, Matthew, we have time to do that, but I don't think we have time, because by within the next 1 hour, I'm supposed to be done. But I'm hoping that we can get to know how many are attending this lesson who are Form 4s and how many are Form 3s. But allow me to make a request that we will start with the Fathers of Nations for the sake of the Form 3s. And as much as you Form 4s, you're not doing the Fathers of Nation, my policy has always been with students that there is no harm even on doing an essay of a book that you're not being tested. Because what you need is the skill. What you need is the opportunity for you to just exercise and practice. Remember, essay writing is more on practice. And so therefore, I want to request that even for the Form 4s, you indulge us for this lesson. Indulge us, allow us, even for the sake of the Form 3s, to begin with the Fathers of Nations. And I will take you in a way that I'm hoping that as you carry on, the skill that you pick from these Fathers of Nation, you will be able to employ that into the Samaritan. But I promise the next meeting on Tuesday, we will begin with the Samaritan, because I'm not very sure how fast we can do this. We'll be able to finish up. So allow me to begin with the Fathers of Nation. And I want to share a question that I had prepared for this meeting. And allow me to just bring it up to us so that we are able to just begin from there. Yes, I have picked a very easy question, and I hope all the students can see that. I've picked a very easy question because I want to believe that every student, whether you're in Form 3 or Form 4, you are able to handle this kind of a question, because the theme of betrayal in the Fathers of Nations is the theme of betrayal in the Fathers of Nation is very easy, and it's very prevalent. There is a lot of betrayal that is in the book, and I wanted us to handle this. I would want you to write this question down. Kindly write it down. Just write the one line. You don't have to do the rest of the part. Yeah, we'll do. I have mentioned that we'll do Samaritan after this. Kindly allow us to do Samaritan after this. But on Tuesday we will begin with the Samaritan. Yes, for today, allow us to begin with the Fathers. On Tuesday, we will begin with the Samaritan, because I know there are some Form 3s that I wouldn't want us to leave them off the screen completely, because they've not done the Samaritan. But next week, we will begin with the Samaritan. There are some people who can't see the screen. Maybe it could be a challenge from your end, but let me read for you. It says, betrayal pervades every level of the society. Betrayal pervades, P-E-R-V-A-D-E-S. Betrayal pervades every level of the society. And then you're told, basing your illustration from the Fathers of Nations by Paul B. Vita, write a composition to show the truth of this assertion. Now, I wanted us to begin from there, and allow me to say something that I've said in my videos on YouTube. And for the sake of this session, allow me to just say something. That when it comes to essay writing, one of the challenges we are having a lot is where, as students, we do not understand the question. If you do not understand the question, however good you are, you will struggle with answer. You will score very poorly. you must be able to understand the question and answer the question. Somebody is not able to see the screen. Betrayal pervades every level of the society. Betrayal pervades every level of the society. Of course, now we are doing that in reference to the fathers of nations. So therefore, I want to encourage us to find time to make sure that we understand the question. Imagine if you did not understand this question, even if whatever you are writing is correct, but it did not go into the answering of the question, the part for the marks, the body that has 12 marks, I hope we all know by now that the introduction has got 2 marks, the body has got 12 marks, and the conclusion has got 2 marks, and the language has got 4 marks. I don't want to go into that details because that is content that you can find on my channel. I want to ask you to go there. And therefore, we want to make sure that we understand the question. So, and the intention of this lesson today is to help us to begin from somewhere, especially with the introduction, because some of us are struggling even to write the introduction. The introduction is supposed to give you 2 marks. And so how do you ensure that the introduction that you write gives you 2 marks? And I'm hoping that now we are clear. I can remove the sharing for now, so that we are able to see each other. Now, how do you ensure that the introduction you write gives you 2 marks? And I hope you know that the introduction carries, I mean, there are 2 types, there are many types of introductions, but the one major one is general introduction. We also have the contextual introduction. We also have the general contextualized introduction. That means that there are also other introductions like the paraphrasing, and all that can be handled in a different session. I don't want to handle that right now, but if you go to my videos, you will get that. So depending on the introduction that you're having, personally, I always encourage for you to have general to contextualized introduction, where you're having both of them. You're having both of them, I mean, a combination of the 2. So you don't have just a general introduction or a contextualized introduction, only you mix the 2. And therefore, for this lesson, I wanted us to adopt both. And I'm hoping that you know how to write an introduction. And I wanted to see what it is you can give us. I wanted to see how you can write that introduction in reference to that question. But this is where I want us to talk about. Before you write about you write the introduction, because most of the students, when you're given a paper, you realize that some of us, within 2 minutes, you're already writing your essay, you're already writing things down. So the question we ask you, what are you writing? Unaandika nini? How do you know what it is you're writing? And we skip a very important part of this work, and that is what we call brainstorming. We also call that the planning stage. And that is what I would want us to plan together. I want us to do this together. And that's why I told you use the chat box. Can you just help us to understand, in your understanding, what instances, if you're supposed to write this essay, like we are doing, what instances would you want to highlight? Are there, as you think about it, are there instances of betrayal that you see in the text? And I would want us to just list them down, because in your essay writing, the one thing you're supposed to do before you even do the introduction, kindly, can you make sure that on a rough paper, on a rough space, list down all the instances of betrayal that are in the book, so that from those instances, then you remember that you have 4 paragraphs, only 4 paragraphs, and therefore you ask yourself, which 4 illustrations do I need to pick from there? So that, because some of us, when you go straight into the writing, you don't even get time to weigh the options that you have. You don't get time to ask yourself, do I need to pick this or leave the other? And by the end of the day, therefore, you write very weak illustrations, you repeat illustrations, you miss out on what really was supposed to be done. So in a minute or 2, do you know of any illustrations that you'd want to highlight that are showing betrayal in the text? Maybe you in the chat box, can you write for us just a few illustrations that come to your mind if you're to write that essay? Yeah, let's see. Someone talks about Asia. Just note it down, please. We may not pick all of them, but they will help us to just make sure that we're on the same page, because you are the one writing this essay. It's not me, by the way. I didn't come to write the essay. I came so that we can write it together. Just note down for us. Don't just write Pamela. Just say what happened to Pamela in one sentence. You don't have to explain the whole paragraph. I just want to see, are you able to identify the instances where betrayal is happening? Comrade Melusi is being betrayed by the president. Very good. Pamela, what happened to Pamela? Asia betrays Kimani. When Asia leaves Kimani, thank you. Dennis, the host government betrays its citizens. Very nice. Professor Kimani is betrayed by Walomu. Very good. Somebody else? Let's keep them coming. Kimani, Engineer Tahir is betrayed by his country when they closed the Feast of Allah. Anybody else? Walomu betrays Kimani by snatching his wife Asia. Awesome. Anybody else? Any other illustration you'd want us to pick? Kimani is betrayed by his wife. Dr. Falapi betrays the fathers of nations when he introduces Path Alpha. Very good. Yes, he has been hired to do something totally different, but he comes to do something, to introduce Path Alpha instead of Voy Omega. Very good. Any other? Now, tell me, because like we are saying, when you're doing the essay writing, you need to identify the 4 paragraphs, the 4 instances that you're going to write in your essay. I want to ask you, if it's possible, I asked you to carry a book and a pen. Can you kindly write for us, write on your book, which are the 4, among all these illustrations we are talking about, because there are many, there are actually almost 10 of them, where even the Seamount clerk is betraying Mackenzie because she's being harassed by the Liberian mullah, and he's not even doing anything. When he's asked by Dr. Falabi, why are you not rescuing her? And he gives a very funny answer. It's none of my business. That is betrayal. But which illustrations are stronger? If you had an illustration on the clerk, an illustration on Walomu and Professor Kimani and Asia, which one is stronger? And I think that's where most of us are getting it wrong, because we are not able to pick the strong illustrations. We go straight into writing, and by the end of the day, we miss out on the points. I want you for a minute, because I see we have very few minutes remaining. I want you for a minute to pick 4 illustrations. And I know someone will ask, in one paragraph, how many illustrations should you have? I know I have my fellow colleagues here. Rosemary, Adoro, you can't hear anything. I think the problem could be from your end. Maybe try to unmute. I don't know. Now I'm even talking to you and you can't hear anything. Can someone help that girl? No. Yes, there are 4 illustrations in the body. And the question is, someone was asking, in one paragraph, can you have more than 1 illustration? Is it okay to have 2, 3 illustrations? And I know I have my fellow colleagues here, and maybe some of the things I say, you may think differently. And imagine, as I slow down, am I moving too fast? I think because I'm trying to finish, and I'm trying to make sure that we at least make sure we do something by the time our time is up. Thank you. Let me try to slow down. Okay, no, I'm okay. Okay, fine. Now, I've said, in the meantime, when I'm talking about this, kindly make sure that, thank you, Rosemary, as you guide Pam, as you guide Rosemary. There could be an issue as she's logging in. I want you to pick the 4 illustrations. Someone asked, can we have 2 illustrations or 3 illustrations in one paragraph? The examiners say that it is okay to have, but the challenge is when you have many illustrations, you end up not telling us anything. You end up skimming through. You end up giving us, just very half-baked information, such that by the end of the day, you have not answered the question. So you will score a thin. You will actually score almost 1 mark or even none, because you gave us so many illustrations, and every illustration is not polished. And so for me, my biggest advice has always been, why don't you just pick one? Pick one, run with it, and exhaust it and answer the question, instead of picking many. Because remember, every illustration, every paragraph has got only 3 marks. 1 is for the topic sentence, and 2 for the background information, and of course, even the clincher sentence. And even if you give us 5 illustrations, you can only get 3 marks. And these marks are not like grammar, where we give you a tick for every correct answer that you give. And so therefore, we are asking you to normalize writing 1 illustration in 1 paragraph. That means, therefore, that you need to look for you need to look for a strong illustration, one that will help you, that will carry the day, such that even if it is just one illustration, you'll be able to just exhaust it and answer the question well without having to add something on top of it. Jim Jam, I think you have come in late for the meeting. Now, have you been able to pick the 4 illustrations that you're going to use for this essay? Now that you have the 4 illustrations, that is where you begin your introduction. You already know what you want to tell us. Now, can you then use that information and introduce your essay? Earlier, when you're doing the introduction, without deciding what you're going to tell us, you will give us an introduction that is not accurate because you did not know what it is that you are supposed to give. You didn't know what it is you're supposed to tell us. And so therefore, I wanted us to begin from there. And I want to give you just some sample introduction. But maybe before I do a sample introduction, can someone help us to just write one? I know you guys are brilliant, especially the Form 4s. You should be very okay. I know the Form 4s are here. And I know this is something you've done. You've just done your MOOCs, you've done all your exams. So you can help the Form 3s. And so that we can learn from each other, can you just take a minute and try to draft an introduction for us before I show you my copy, my sample? Just try to do that. Alfred Jacob, let's concentrate on what is going on, because when we do that, we will lose the others. We are writing an introduction. Help us with that. Just try to draft an introduction for yourself, for us. And if you can do a general contextualized introduction that you have, that is able to help you answer that question on betrayal. Remember, the illustrations you pick are personal. Everybody picks their own illustrations. Me, I have mine. And I don't know whether you will go with mine, but I will only share what I have done. My question is, can you try to draft an introduction? Remember, you have many types of introduction, but I want you to do a general to contextualized introduction. A general one talks about real life. The other one talks about you're borrowing from the text itself. So I want someone to give us a copy, a sample of introduction. That is what I'm waiting for. I hope the question is clear. Extremist, I hope the question is clear. And remember, you do not define terms. Extremist, you still cannot get the question? Is it that I'm not clear, or what's up? I'm waiting for someone to help us. Shayla, I'm not mixing issues. Kindly listen keenly. I want an introduction. Let's start with an introduction. Yes, you can share it on the screen. You just write it on the chat box. We'll see it, so that we can be able to learn from each other before I even share mine. Unless you've come in late. For this, let me share. That is the question. As you write your introduction, Cecilia, we've been explaining for the last many minutes. Unless you've joined us now. Thank you, Shima. Thank you, Doris. I can see your introduction. Somebody else would want to give us something. Just write it, even if you're not very sure. Yeah, Jerry, that is okay, but it's very brief. That is very brief, but it's a good start. Samsung SM, you would not want to begin an introduction with an example. Being stabbed at the back, Mercy, that's a good trial. Very good. Though it's brief, you can add something to it. Yes, it is good not to repeat, but if you repeat one or so words, it's okay. The problem is copy pasting, where you copy the question as it is and put it as part of your introduction. You can play with the words here and there. You can use synonyms. It is okay. But the problem is when you copy the question as it is and post it there and put it there as part of the introduction. In our day-to-day lives, we face many instances. Thank you. Very good. Extremist, at least now I can see we are together. Yeah, but you can do more than that. Someone is asking, how long should an introduction be? I don't know what your teacher has told you, but for me, I say that an introduction should be at least around 5 to 7 lines. Don't give us one line. Don't give us 2 lines, because when you make it too short, you are compromising the quality of that introduction. Saidi, I see your introduction, very good. But make sure that you don't define, you don't talk about what is betrayal. You're not supposed to define terms. Stacy, that is a bit brief. Give it a little bit more flesh. Aha, present. That is very nice. Very good, Margaret. I can see you. China, I can see you. Thank you. Anybody else wants to keep writing before I share my... I want to share my introduction. I hope you can see it. Mine is a bit longer. I made it a bit longer because it was for learning purposes. It doesn't have to be very long. I hope you can see it. Galaxy, I like it. I hope you can see mine. Can you see? It's not that it's the best, but you can always edit and all that. When you trust, it's supposed to be an individual. When you trust an individual, you expect nothing but actions that are true and in line with the confidence towards him or her. Unfortunately, there's a lot of deceit in the society, with individuals betraying one another, or an individual betraying the society and the society betraying individuals. This is clearly seen in the society depicted in Fathers of Nations, where the leaders betray. I want to delete this part. I don't know whether someone is writing this down. I wanted to keep it that way because I've made it more of general. And just a little bit. Yeah, it's just for teaching purposes, and therefore I will just you can pick your own. I just wanted to help you see what I came up with, and just added a few things so that you can borrow or leave. Remember the illustrations that you pick will determine very much how your illustration will look like. What I see you people writing here are very good. I like what you're writing. I like what you're coming up with, because that is very few of you are very brief. Some of you are too brief. When it's too brief, I don't think it's okay when it's too brief. Try to make it not too brief. And again, don't also make it too large. Remember, in the introduction, you don't tell us what is going on down there. I mean, in the body, just introduce. All right. So in the interest of time, allow us to move into the next part, which is the body. Form 4s, I hope we are together. I know that, let me first of all leave this here for the sake of those who are still writing. As we talk about the body, the Form 4s, I said, someone is asking, I said that even the Form 4s, I have bullied them into doing the Fathers of Nations, knowing that they are doing the Samaritan at the end of the year. But on Tuesday, we have another meeting, and we will do the Samaritan there. We will begin with the Samaritan. But we needed to begin with this because we wanted to bring the Form 3s on board. And again, even if it is a different, it is not the book you're doing. What we are looking for is the skill. It is the skill to write. So even if you write from the Fathers, the skill is the same. You employ the same. All right. So now listen. The other thing that I would want us to be very keen on is the topic sentence. And I know many of you are struggling with the topic sentence. I don't know which words I'm going to use to explain to you what a topic sentence is, because one of them, in the 3 marks that are in the illustration, one of the marks that you get is for the topic sentence. And when you miss a topic sentence, you're disadvantaging yourself. And students really struggle with that and move on to the background information, ignoring the topic sentence. And therefore, I want to ask you, like, for example, maybe because in my example, in my essay, I talked about the citizens being betrayed by the government during the summit. I hope you can see that. I will scroll down. I don't know what illustrations you picked, but any will do. But I just want us to concentrate on this, I picked the illustration where the government, the people of Gambia, when they had the visitor, the heads of state are coming, they were very excited. And they knew by the end of the day, we are going to have a very wonderful time. We are going to have business coming in, just like they will do here in Kenya. When we hear that something like this is coming up, what organization is having, what nations are coming, we imagine how they will buy our things. That is what they were thinking. But what happened to these people? Unfortunately, the opposite happened. So we are talking about the betrayal of the people of Gambia vis-a-vis their expectations. And so therefore, I want us to look at the first line, because that is the topic sentence. The topic sentence in this case, let me tell you what it is, that it is an introduction of the paragraph. Remember, we have 4 paragraphs. Every paragraph has its thought, has its illustrations that it's carrying. So therefore, we are saying that in that paragraph, whatever you want to tell us should be captured in one line, should be captured in one sentence, so that when somebody reads that sentence, they are able to tell, what do I expect in that paragraph? This is not an introduction. Someone who is asking, this is not an introduction, but let me say that the topic sentence is more of an introduction to the paragraph. It's like when you read that topic sentence, you almost can tell, what do I expect in that paragraph? And therefore, you need to coin it. You need to coin it in a way that the person, however you capture it, you only introduce to us and tell us what is it are you expecting in the paragraph. Like, for example, during the summit in Banjul, the citizens in host country feel betrayed by their government. Now, what we know when we read that is that in this paragraph, we are not going to hear about Pamela. We are not going to hear about Melusi. We are not going to hear about Engineer Tahir. We expect in this paragraph only, because your first sentence is talking about Banjul, we are expecting that you're only going to tell us about Banjul. And so the topic sentence is that one line, just that one line that is introducing the paragraph itself. Thank you, Alfred. Now, unfortunately or fortunately, the topic sentences, there is no way of telling you this is how we write it unless you keep writing, and maybe the person who is holding your hand or maybe your teacher helps you to just tell you this topic sentence is okay, this is not okay. And maybe, I don't know, if I ask you to write a topic sentence right now, I don't know whether will be able to have achieved the objective because you already have this. But let's read this. And maybe if we have a minute remaining, I will ask you from the illustrations you picked, can you try to write a few topic sentences, like 2 topic sentences, so that we can have a look at them and learn from each other. So I can't ask you to read because you're all muted, but let's read it together as I scroll. Just to see how the paragraph has been wired. During the summit in Banjul, the citizens in host country feel betrayed by their government. When the heads of state come visiting, the citizens have high expectations that the event will be an advantage to them. Instead, they are denied basic amenities such as water and easy movement from one place to the other due to security checks. The demolition of roadside kiosks, which are their source of their livelihood, is a heavy blow to the poor citizens. The citizens therefore feel deeply betrayed by the very government that was supposed to help them benefit from the presence of the state visitors. Now, I'm sure someone would want to mark my work. Those of my colleagues who are here, I have no problem. I have never claimed to know everything, and maybe I could have missed out on something, but now, someone is asking about the connect, does the topic sentence connect to the question? Now, what was the question? The question was about betrayal. And so we are talking about, you want to write it? Yes, you can go ahead and write it. It's only that maybe time may not allow. Now, do this with that number that is on the poster, or that number that probably Matthew can bring it on the screen at some point. We can engage a bit, and maybe I can even send you the copy and so on, or even the others that I have. Even for my teaching purposes that I have. So you don't have to worry so much about it. If you reach out, I will give you so that we can be able to move a bit fast. Yeah, so please allow us to move on. You can reach out. I will give it to you because I want us to move to the next paragraph, because by the time this is done, I want us to have paragraph connectors. Like, firstly, that is awesome. You are allowed to use that. Actually, it's encouraged. It's only that it's not a must. You can say, firstly, this and this happened. Secondly, Professor Kimani experiences. Thirdly, Evo. That's okay. Yeah, some of you are writing. Kindly, let me send you. Inbox me. I will send you the whole of it actually as it is, so that it's a bit easier for you. You can even print it or even copy it, so that we're able to move fast. We have actually around 20 minutes left. So let's go on to the second paragraph. The second paragraph, I picked Professor Kimani's experiences. Remember, yes, I will send it to our wall. Thank you. I will do that, Cecilia. Now, we are talking about Professor Kimani. The second illustration is about Professor Kimani's betrayal. Now, I didn't want to just pick about him and Asia, how he was betrayed by Asia, but I wanted to bring a bit of how he was betrayed by Walomu, and he was betrayed on many fronts. But remember, you must resist from writing everything. That's why we said we need that space for brainstorming, so that you pick, what do I write, what do I pick? What do I write? What do I leave out? Because you may not be able to write everything. Now, look at that sentence, that first sentence. Professor Kimani experiences deep betrayal on many fronts. I did that deliberately because I didn't want to talk about Professor Kimani experiences deep betrayal from his wife. Because when I say he's been betrayed by his wife, it means I can only talk about Asia in my paragraph. I can't talk about other things. So I wanted to make sure that I leave the topic sentence a bit broader, general, in a way that I'm able to bring in as much as I want. And so Professor Kimani experiences deep betrayal on many fronts. That is my topic sentence. And therefore I go ahead to explain and say that Asia betrays him when she abandons him to be married by newborn Walomu a few months after they lose their daughter. Remember, the question is on betrayal. The question is on betrayal, and therefore, we will always make sure that we keep going back to the question. Are you answering the question? Because most of us are not able to do that. Asking yourself, are we answering the question? And so Asia betrays him when she abandons him to be married by newborn Walomu a few months after they lose their daughter Tuni. She is lured by Walomu's money and jilts her husband of 30 years. Newborn Walomu, who was Kimani's junior colleague, betrays Kimani. Remember, I've talked about Professor Kimani experiencing betrayal from both sides. I brought in this because I wanted to bring the aspect of Walomu also betraying Kimani. It's the same point, it's the same person, the same illustration, and therefore I wanted to bring this in the sense that we are able to see a richer paragraph, because we are intensifying the deep betrayal. So therefore we've talked about Asia betraying and Walomu also betraying. I am hoping that we can see that. I want to move on to the next paragraph because of time. I am being rushed by time because I may not be able to be here after 8:30. Now, I hope we are together. I know I'm rushing you. I am sorry. Like I said, this is not the first and the last meeting. We will be having meetings every Tuesday, every Thursday, every Saturday. So, and I know the next meetings will be a bit easier because we will have gotten the hang of it. We can engage in the WhatsApp group, and therefore we can do something more. And don't you worry, I am here. I will support you. So let's have a look at the next paragraph. The first paragraph was on Banjul and the citizens. The second one is on Walomu and Kimani being betrayed. The third one is the citizens in Kenya. I do want to leave my country behind. The citizens in Kenya feel betrayed by their political leaders. That is the topic sentence. What does that mean? That in this paragraph, I can only talk about Kenya Kenya and the issues going on in Kenya. We cannot talk about we cannot talk about Melusi, we cannot talk about Tahir. Do not mix issues. Talk about just one. Just talk about one. And those who are asking about the WhatsApp group, just chat me on the line that is given there, or the one that is on the poster. I will forward you the link there. Just don't worry. Just forward me, just chat me there. I will forward you the link. And so the citizens in Kenya feel betrayed by their political leaders. That is the topic sentence for this paragraph. In the sense that when you look at that topic sentence, you're able to see that paragraph, it will only talk about the citizens in Kenya, not anywhere else. So we go ahead and say the parliamentarians betray them when they stage coups in parliament and they raise their untaxable pay stroke wages abnormally and illegally, and they pass laws to legitimize the act. I hope you can remember that. Professor Kimani is the one who was complaining that. You remember when he was having a discussion with Tuni and telling her about why he's very unhappy about the things that are going on, about the politicians and the parliamentarians, how they raised their salaries and so on. That is what we are talking about. And so due to many selfish economic decisions, collapse of the country's, economy is inevitable, leading to lack of basic needs that concern the citizens, such as security, proper infrastructure, etc. Remember the question. The question is about betrayal. And so who has been? Betrayal pervades the society on every side. So we are talking about not just at home where Walomu and Asia and Kimani are betraying each other. We're also talking about political, national issues. There is also betrayal there. I'm hoping that you can see that this paragraph, we are talking about a betrayal of a country, not like the other one. I said I'm moving fast because I will send you this, where I will find you in the WhatsApp group. I will send you this, the whole of it actually. So you don't have to worry. Allow me to go to the last paragraph. The last paragraph, the leader of Zimbabwe betrays his citizens in the most painful way. I hope we are still together. I know I'm moving very fast. Allow me, I am sorry about it. In the next ones, I'm sure we'll have an easier time. Maybe we'll even have a longer time. It's only that probably today I'm a bit rushed. Whoever it is, I can't see your name. You're chatting, they're talking about your Muslims and Muslim Academy. Can you do that at your inbox? You can exchange numbers and have your conversation there. We all can see you, and that discussion is irrelevant to this class. So kindly stop it. Yeah, so I don't appreciate that. Otherwise, I will put you in the waiting room. Matthew will do that, and I will do that with no apology. So kindly concentrate on what we are doing. The rest of the things you can chat later. All right, so the fourth paragraph is on the leader of Zimbabwe betrays his citizens in the most painful way. Yes, and this is the topic sentence for the paragraph, the illustration on the people of Zimbabwe and Melusi. What happens there? Remember, you see, I have not talked about Melusi in the topic sentence. I've talked about the leader of Zimbabwe betraying his people, so that in my paragraph, if I want to bring something beyond the Melusi, I'm also able to capture it. I want you to note that the topic sentence has a way of ensuring that the content that you're covering, the content that you're raising in the paragraph is, in that paragraph is captured well. And I think that is the challenge most of us are having. I want to encourage you to write as much as you can, practice as much as you can, because along the way, you will get the hang of it. So you can see that after Comrade Melusi supports his leader in fighting for independence, he betrays him and his tribesmen by denying them an opportunity to be part of the newly formed government. His claim that the developed tribesmen are his rivals and therefore could not be trusted was betrayal to Melusi and the developed people. The height of betrayal is experienced when he orders Murabatsvina, the cleaning of the trash, and Melusi's wife, together with other citizens, lose their lives and property. That is betrayal. We elected you, we supported you, we fought with you because we wanted you to take care of us. But what have you done at the back of, once you get into power, you kill us, you destroy our houses, you destroy our slums in the name of saying that you want to remove disease and so on. So that is betrayal. And so we are talking about betrayal, guys. And so I'm almost finishing because I wanted us to have a look at the topic sentences is my focus. I just wanted to show you this, the sample of my topic sentences. Somebody is asking about the clincher sentence. The clincher sentences are important because the clincher sentence is, maybe for the sake of those who don't know, the clincher sentence is that last line that we have that puts, like, to clinch is to hold together, you know, like you clinch a cup or something, you win some, you know, just to hold something, to have it together. So the clincher sentence is that last line that you have in every paragraph that it's not more of a summary, but it's something that just concludes. It's kind of concluding whatever we were discussing. And you wouldn't even be penalized or lose a mark because of not having a clincher sentence, as long as your background information, your illustration is able to lead us to the question and answer the question, you'll still be okay. So do not worry so much about the clincher sentence. It is good if you have it, but even if you don't, it doesn't come out as you'd really want, you will not get penalized for the same. If you have it, your essay looks much, much better and much organized. I hope that is clear. Those of us, my fellow teachers on the wall, I am ready to be corrected. I have never had a problem being told, Mwalimu, I don't think that is correct. And I love to hear different opinion. Yes, we have 6 paragraphs here, including the introduction and the conclusion. All right, so let's go to the last paragraph so that we can wind up with this. Next week, Tuesday, we'll be here and we will be able to answer all those questions. I'll give you a moment one of these days to just ask those questions. Citizens of Africa countries feel betrayed by their presidents when they convene at the summit. That is the topic sentence for this paragraph. Remember that we are talking about that one line that explains the paragraph. So we know when we read that one line, we know that we are talking about not anything else. We're not talking about Engineer Tahir. We are not talking about who. We are not talking about Pamela. We are not talking about Tuni. We are talking about the leaders, the heads of state, how they disappointed, they betrayed their own citizens in their meeting in the summit. I hope you can see how the topic sentences are made. And of course, I want to read that for you so that we can go to the conclusion. And we will call it a day for now. All right, so I hope you can read with me. The citizens of African countries feel betrayed by their presidents when they convene at the summit. Their sole objective of ratifying or adopting Way Omega as their common growth agenda is hijacked by unnecessary distractions and premeditated introduction of Path Alpha. The tossing of the coin and the use of the choice matrix was a betrayal to the African states, which expected vibrant and reasonable discussions to take place in Banjul. The acrimony culminates in only a few heads of state approving the matrix choice, although begrudgingly, as in they just did it without being forced. The heads of state disappointed the taxpayers who sponsored them to visit Banjul. I am hoping that that is a bit clear. Remember, we are talking about what were the expectations of the citizens. They expected their leaders to support. When they go for that meeting, they will discuss seriously. They will look at both those documents and say, look at the pros and the cons. What are the advantages of this document, Way Omega? Can we adopt it? How good is it? How good is it? Can we? I mean, they expected serious discussions. But what did these people do? When they went there, they went tossing coins and having very funny discussions. It is betrayal because it is wastage of money. Why did you even go there in the first place? Because you used our money, you went there and you didn't even deliver, you didn't even do anything. I am hoping that by now we are much, much better. Let me go to the conclusion. The conclusion is always very easy, but remember that most of us we don't take it seriously. It is clear from the above illustration that betrayal, which is part of our daily lives, exists at both personal and societal level. Let me say something about the illustrations. Please, as much as possible, do not pick the question and copy paste it there and say that you have concluded. Nowadays, we are happy to see people drawing lessons, moral lessons from the conclusion. You're able to just tell us, what is this that you learn from whatever you have told us? Make it as engaging as possible. Remember, there are 2 marks. It is not. So for those of you who just write one single line, some of you will say, in conclusion, it is clear that betrayal pervades all aspects of the society. Now, you're being lazy. Why don't you just go ahead and give it the attention it deserves and write it as much as you can? And so this is just a sample of what we have. And like I've said, we cannot write this down like well, I'm watching because of time, and I have promised that I will send you this. If you're not in our WhatsApp group for the essay writing class, I want to encourage you to text me on that number. Matthew, you can probably bring that number up again so that we are able, just write for them the number, or someone just put the number on the chat so that we are able to, maybe I should just do that for you from here, so that we engage at that level. So I want to stop it at that. There is a question on Samaritan that I had prepared, but I do not, of course, time does not allow us to have it here, because I was hoping that we can have, I was hoping we can have a moment to do both essays so that I'm able to take care of both the Form 3s and the Form 4s. But I knew if I begin with the Samaritan, the Form 3s will be disadvantaged because they've not done the Samaritan. Form 4s, you've done the father, so it's okay. Please write this down. This is what we will look at next week. We will begin from here. And it says, Mea Mosi, I am going to hope every one of us knows Mea Mosi. Mea Mosi is unfit. I'm sure you've come across this question somewhere. Mea Mosi is unfit to run the Maracas municipality. I want to bring it to you. I want to share it. Mea Mosi is unfit to run the Maracas municipality. Mea Mosi is unfit to run the Maracas municipality. So that is the essay that we are going to look at next week on Tuesday. That is the essay we are going to look at next week on Tuesday. I want to ask you to engage me on the WhatsApp group. I want you to engage me on the inbox. I'll try as much as I can. I'll try as much as I can to answer you and support you. But let's meet on Tuesday, the same time, same place. I hope you can see that question. Can you see the question? Mea Mosi is unfit to run the Maracas municipality with close reference to John Lara's The Samaritan. Discuss. Now.
Yeah, yes, it's visible. I know people can see it.
Yes. Yes, I haven't gone through the artist because I am telling you, for me to prepare this, please don't write for me there because I'll not even be able to access those messages, but just inbox me. Use my number and inbox me so that I can forward you the link. I've not, in the channel, I haven't looked at the silent song and the artist because of time. I am my work, my job sometimes does not allow me to do most of those things, but I'm working on it. I promise you before long, I am working on it. Matthew, would you read for me that number so that we can write for people here? 0743? Allah.
Yes, 043 743 652
0743? Sorry?
652 969.
969?
Yeah.
Yes, that's the number. I will cover. Sawa. So let me excuse you guys because of time. Let's meet on Tuesday, same time. I will remind you through a poster. Oh, my school. No, I will tell you on Tuesday. But my name is Teacher Martha. Parliament of Alls is covered in the channel. 7:30 is when we are meeting here on Tuesday. I will remind you. Thank you, Sarah. Anybody else who wants to say thank you? I'm not in alliance. I teach girls, very beautiful girls. I'll tell you their names when we meet next. Yes, they have told me not to share their names. All right, thank you. Matthew, I think we are done. Guys, let's engage on the chat and the WhatsApp group. Let's chat. I will see you next time. See you on Tuesday. Thank you.